Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I ever get back, 'cause it's root for the home team. They don't win, it's a shame, 'cause it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game.
Welcome to Let's Get To, the baseball show from the fan's perspective. Now here's your host, James Christopher.
Hello, Wisconsin. Hi, I'm James Christopher of Let's Get To out of Austin, Texas. I am here. Scott McIntyre is here and Andrew Nelson is here. We're excited to be visiting the Fond Du Lac Dock Spiders tonight. You guys have heard them on the show a bunch of times. We're big fans of everything they're doing up here in Wisconsin. And those of you who are like 3 years old, I was trying to do a That 70s Show reference with my Hello, Wisconsin. But before I introduce the show, I am honored and humbled to be throwing out the first pitch of the ball game. And so, let's go to that moment.
I'm not going to lie. When I went out there, I was a little bit nervous. I was worried I wouldn't get enough break on my breaking ball, and I was all out of Vagisil and no jalapeno up my nose. First, I tried to scuff the ball up on the ground to give me a little extra grip. And then, someone gave me the key. The only thing left to do was to clear the mechanism.
We welcome James Christopher up there to the pitcher's mound. He is the host of Let's Get To out of Austin, Texas. He is a 7-year Army veteran. He's been practicing, he tells me. Yes, he has been. Well done, James. And Aiden Blatz, he's our birthday boy today.
You see, this is what happens when a natural athlete comes off the couch for 22 years after keeping his instrument finely tuned-ish, and he fires one. And everybody out there, Don, you try to get in my head with arm slots and not bouncing it. Well, I got one arm slot for you, buddy, and it was right down the middle. We had a great show for you today coming up. We're going to have our trips to Fond du Lac, our trips to Madison, and the Lafayette Aviators will be here to talk about our trip out there to see them next week. So stay with us.
Who's on first? The Let's Get To Local 9, brought to you by Zoomer Sport.
So we are super excited and thrilled to welcome to Let's Get To the general manager of the Lafayette Aviators out of the Prospect League, David Krakauer. David, first of all, good morning. Thanks for jumping on Let's Get To.
Good morning, and thank you for having me and letting me talk a little bit Aviators baseball today. We're excited. The season's underway, so I'm very excited to be here.
We are already big fans. One of the best branding designs in baseball, in our opinion. And also, whoever's running y'all's social media, both the mascot account and the main Twitter account, doing a great job. So my kudos to you guys.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
So a little bit about yourself. How did you go from, I'm assuming, a kid growing up loving baseball to ending up being the general manager of a Prospect League team?
Sure. Well, some people say that they were born, loving baseball. My grandfather literally brought a baseball bat to the hospital the day I was born. So a baseball bat was put in my hands the day I was born. I played baseball through college, until I was 22. Had the dream of being a center fielder for the San Francisco Giants. That obviously did not happen. And so sometime about midway through my college career, when I realized that playing professional baseball was not in the cards, I started looking into other ways to stay involved in the sport once my career, was over, once college, was done for me, and wound up getting my master's degree in sports management and started working in baseball and wound up working now in professional sports throughout the country for different teams at different levels, both Major League Baseball, minor league baseball, indie league baseball, and then also jumped over to hockey, worked in the NHL, and then in the MLS and soccer as well. I also had a small stint in ESPN, working for ESPN. And then during COVID, and I know we'll get into this a little bit further, with COVID, coming out of COVID, but during COVID, there was just so much turmoil, particularly in sports, with everything going on in the country, what was going on in the sports world with COVID, particularly the lower leagues, sort of got lost in the shuffle. And but it turned out to be a blessing for me because I was looking for something, to really enhance my career and get where I wanted to be, which was eventually to be a general manager of a baseball team. And the Aviators were looking for a new GM. And so the marriage sort of happened, and it happened perfectly.
I want to jump into COVID, and I think you're exactly right. Not only did sort of the plight or the well-being of the quote smaller baseball teams, the MILB, independent leagues, collegiate summer leagues, were sort of lost in the shuffle while we watched Major League Baseball argue about whether to play or not. I'm still flabbergasted that was ever a thing. Yeah. But also, these teams, while dealing with their own uncertainty, were still out there for their communities.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about that piece. Explain to my audience why your local baseball team and that local community are so interchangeable and really do depend on each other.
No, absolutely. And I'll tell you what, there's a great example going on in the league right now. I'll get into it. I'll sort of segue into that as I'm talking about this is, as we're looking at what happened at the lower levels of baseball in particular during COVID, first of all, you had minor league baseball, the old PR saying, never let a crisis, never let a crisis go, unused, essentially. And I truly believe Major League Baseball was always looking to cut down on the number of affiliated minor league baseball teams. And they used the crisis as an excuse. They used the pandemic and to get to where they wanted to be, which was just every team has 4 minor league teams, and that's it. So now they went from 162 affiliated teams to 120, and they used COVID as an excuse. And so what happened was it is so important because the fact that no affiliated minor league baseball teams played baseball in 2020, no indie league teams played baseball in 2020, and no summer college baseball teams played in leagues. There were a few that played in their communities and played scrimmage games just to keep the boys and making sure their skills were staying honed for either the draft or for the upcoming college season. But there were no official league play last summer. So it's crucial to get the branding out in the community so that when something like that happens and you lose an entire season of baseball, the community doesn't forget that you exist and that they still want to come back out the following summer or the following season. So it's just important that we do stay in touch with the community, since again, we're not the New York Yankees or the Chicago Cubs or from my bias, the San Francisco Giants. We're not entrenched in the community. We don't have that major league cachet. We really need to be in the community as far as we know who we are, that they know who we are. It's a small community, and we are truly a community-based team here. To that end, the Prospect League has actually flourished because what happened was 2 of the teams that are in the league this year, we expanded. Last season, the Prospect League was 12 teams. This year, it's 16 teams. They had always planned on expanding to 14. There were 2 new teams in the league this year. They'd already planned that. Well, then 2 teams that lost their affiliation last year said, we need a place to play. And so we've got 2 teams that just literally pre-COVID were affiliated with Major League Baseball teams playing in the Prospect League. So that's how much cachet the Prospect League has as a summer college baseball league, is that 2 cities said, you're good enough to host teams that were literally affiliated with Major League Baseball, pre-pandemic.
We are big fans of y'all's league in the first league. And it's funny you talk about the pods because two baseball leagues I experienced because I went to 2 different pods. I'd never been to a Northwoods League game. I went to Bismarck and played their thing. And we are big fans of and big supporters of the normal Cornbelters after going to the KCL last year. And I think it's cool that they're kind of keeping both going. Let's talk about you then at a personal level, but also the Aviators. You've dedicated a large percentage of your life to this game. What was it like to get back out now doing that dream job of yours, being a GM of a ball club, that first game in 2020 when things started to feel like normal?
It was awesome. I don't know. I think I put up some sort of Instagram post that day. It was a surreal feeling, and I don't know that I'll ever, I've been through a lot in my career. I've been a part of the World Championship team. I was with the Marlins in 2003. We've got a brand new stadium here. This is the 3rd stadium. Third new stadium I've been a part of. So I've opened new stadiums. I've won world championships. I've literally been a part of organizations that had the best season in ever, and then worst season ever. I was with the Detroit Tigers during some really bad years. So I've seen everything. The first game back here, though, it was different. It was just a different feel in the air. The fans coming back out, moms and dads with their children getting to just sit out at a ballpark, have a hot dog, have soda, enjoy the game, enjoy the crack of the bat. There was just something different walking around the ballpark that night, and it felt nice. It was a really good feeling to have the fans, and I stood at the gate as everybody left that night to thank them for coming back out. And they were just the excitement on everybody's faces. And the funny thing is, so we're 13-4 this year, which I know we'll get to in a little bit, how great the Aviators are playing on the field. We're the best team in the league by far. We've only lost 2 home games total. And one of those games was opening night. We lost 14-6 opening night. We couldn't have played worse. But we had at least 60% of the fans. We're talking about it was 14-6 in the 9th inning. And at least 60% of the fans had stayed for the whole game. Nobody left. It wasn't one of those, this is a blowout, we're going to leave in the 6th inning or the 7th inning or whatever. Everybody.
It wasn't my dad leaving the Astrodome in the 7th. So
exactly. It was, I'm staying till the end of the game because I haven't seen a live baseball game in 2 years of my family or my friends, and everybody stayed and everybody had a good time. Nobody seemed to care that the final score was 14-6 that night and that the Aviators just got trucked the whole night. So it was one of those that the fans came out to have a good time, and everybody had a good time that night.
But let's talk about that. Before I want to get fan experience as we wrap up, but let's talk about, you guys are 13-4.
Yeah.
Who are some of the standouts? What's really driving this incredible start to the Prospect League season?
Got to give full credit to Michael Kieran, our manager, for the recruiting job he did this summer. It's amazing, the talent that we have. The summer college baseball, and I played summer college baseball one summer when I was in college. I know that most times to get that connection with the community, it's really important to always get the local players. And you want to have players playing as close to home as possible because A, it keeps the kids from getting homesick. B, they can build a connection with the fans because they're playing locally, whether it's at Purdue or, some of the other local colleges around here. And so while we do have a few players from the state of Indiana, Michael's done a really good job of mixing and matching some really good talent from around the country, not just here locally. We've got some kids from Nebraska and North Dakota, Florida. We just got a kid from Miami, 2 kids from Florida. Now, we also have the pitcher from Central Florida who just got here last week. So really, it's really been Michael's combination of understanding what we need, playing to the strengths of our ballpark, and it's just been amazing. And he knows what he's doing. I mean, this is his 4th year coaching summer college baseball. In his previous 3 years, he's won two of those 3 years. He won championships. So he knows what he's doing, and he's built an incredible team of just speed, power, pitching, and watching it all come together has been amazing to watch. I mean, we're never out of a game. The other night we were down 6-1, wound up winning 7-6. Last night, the other team, Burlington, one of the former affiliated teams, jumped on us for 4 runs early, and we came back and won the game. So it just seems like it doesn't seem to matter whether we need to win with really good pitching, win with timely hitting. It seems like whatever we need on that particular night, we're getting. It's been great to watch.
And I'm assuming too, you can count on at least a small influx of talent once the College World Series is over. That seems to be how it works, right? You seem to get some of the other guys you'd recruited whose seasons maybe weren't finished yet.
Yes, and that's been the key. Is Michael did a good job of, we'll say, navigating before the rest of the players got here. Between last weekend and last night, we got 4 new players that we've been waiting on. One is our leadoff hitter, came to us from the University of Nebraska. And all he did in his debut was 4 for 5 with 3 singles, a double, 2 RBIs. I mean, he didn't do much in his first ever game, just 4 for 5. Also had stolen base last night. I mean, literally just. And then we got our first baseman finally in last night from Indiana State. Like I said, the ace from UCF got here over the weekend and pitched 2-hitter over 7 innings in his first start for us. So literally, as the talent has come in now, Michael's now plugging them in, and he sort of navigated those waters, to your point, until the roster was finalized once the players finished their regular college season.
Well, let's talk a little fan experience then. I mean, beyond the excellent product on the field, we're dropping this episode, I think, on June 25th. I will be out there on June 29th for my very first Aviators game. what can I look forward to? What is the feeling you want me to have as I walk out of the ballpark?
I want you to say that you just had a great time as far as everything we're doing on the field in between innings, not on the field when we're winning the game, but the fun promos that our promotions director has created for the in-between innings to keep the fans entertained. Some of the fun games we've got for the kids and for the adults. We've got some kids games on the field, but we also have some fun for the adults on the field. Plus, we've got a brand new beer garden down the right field line. So the People's Brewing Company beer garden has been a huge hit with the fans. We have a brand new suite level this year. When you come to the ballpark on the 29th, I'll give you a little tour. We've got 6 suites, 3 indoor suites, 3 outdoor suites, which are brand new this year, and they are just state-of-the-art. I would, with the exception of capacity, I would put our stadium up against any AA ballpark in the country. It's really, really nice. It's so well done. And then, again, just some of the things we have a batting cage in the facility. So it's not off-site, it's not underground where only the players can see it. Literally, it's at field level down the left field line. So we've got, just some really cool, things that are new and unique to our ballpark that I think you'll really enjoy while you're here.
Well, we can't wait. David, thanks so much for jumping on to Let's Get To. He is the general manager of the Lafayette Aviators. We are so excited to be out there. Again, thanks for jumping on Let's Get To.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
From the Bleachers, the Let's Get To Game of the Week.
We're having a great time at Herb Baker Field in Fond Du Lac, Wisconsin. It's been a great time watching your Dock Spiders. Take a look at what our afternoon and evening has been like on this edition of From the Bleachers.
After a 4 a.m. wake up, I was excited to jump on a plane to get to Fond du Lac, Wisconsin to see the Dock Spiders. The first thing you notice when you fly into Wisconsin is how green it is. Everywhere you look, on all sides, green. Looking out the window, I just kept getting more excited to get to the ballpark. It's a team that we've been following for well over a year, and we were finally excited to meet the Dock Spiders in person. Plus, Scott was picking me up. It's always a great time hanging out with him, and I'm sure the drive will be totally normal. When you pull up to the field, you find an intimate ballpark nestled in the community it serves. It's surrounded by the trees that give the Northwoods League its name and adds to the close connection you feel when you're watching a game. It's a park built up heavily around home plate and down the baselines, with a variety of seating options and communal areas that create several vantage points both for hanging out and seeing the game. The Dock Spiders play on a thick bed of lush green grass that contrasts brilliantly against, as George Strait once put it, the clear blue sky. I'm pretty sure Forrest Gump said that too, but as a Texan, I gotta go with George. Seating areas like this one keep you as close to the action as possible. In the days of social media and online marketing, a team is only as successful as its branding, and the Dock Spider look and logo is unequaled across all levels of baseball. One of the best parts of Northwoods League baseball is access. How else would we have learned about the unofficial mascot of the Green Bay Booyah? And it was a big win for the Dock Spiders tonight, and that means happy fans and a happy sponsor. Seriously, how cool is this? All in all, it was a perfect baseball night. We were out and talking with fans, making new friends that we would actually see the next night, and enjoying the best game ever invented. Who could ask for more? So thank you to everyone at the Fond du Lac Dock Spiders for a night to remember. We're going to cherish it forever, and we can't wait to get back.
Holler and a Swaller, a chug of ballpark brew, presented by The Hitter Sports.
And we are back here on Holler and a Swaller, presented by The Hitter Sports, with my guy Scott McIntyre for the first of 2 in 2 days.
It's dose.
It's not really playing
dose.
2 if they're in consecutive 24-hour periods.
Let's play dose.
We're out here at the Fond Du Lac Dock Spiders. Overall, what do you thought of the experience so far?
Hare Baker Field here, sitting off the campus of Marion University. It's really, I mean, dude, what better look can you get of what's supposed to be all about Wisconsin? You look over here off to the side, there's a steeple way up in the air with a dairy farm and a silo right there. That's exactly what it should feel like. It's an intimate ballpark, I think is the way you called it.
Yeah, intimate. Everything's close. Everything's around. I know that we've talked before, and our camera guy right now, Andrew Nelson, has talked before about how important it is to be able to see the game no matter where you are, and that's certainly something you get from this particular environment.
Exactly. You can see it from anywhere except right now because it's happening right behind me, and I'm really nervous if there's a lefty up, but Andrew's wife's got my back.
Yeah.
No, so I think it's a great ballpark. You got a great view everywhere. There's little tables that companies are sponsoring. They're right outside the dugout and outside the fencing line, the netting line, I should say. So you get a really cool look if you're sitting in one of those tables. It's a great ballpark.
I'd like to make a request. I don't want to talk to Scott anymore. I need to talk to Southpaw McGraw. Can we get Southpaw real quick?
Yeah, give me a minute.
And I need from Southpaw an evaluation on the first pitch. Now, I didn't bounce it, and it was at least, I think, online from what I could tell.
Or what I can tell, man, let me tell you something. I saw you release that ball, Jimmy. I thought, his follow through's a little tight. His back's a little tight. There's ways to fix that, and I tried to explain those to you off camera, but I guess you didn't take care. I know you
tried to explain it to me in my hotel room at 3 a.m. I still don't know how you were in there, so don't talk to me about off camera.
I know people that work in hotels and everything. Everything was all right there, but I tell you, all in all, I thought you delivered the ball accurately over the plate. There's nothing like high heat. High heat gets them every time.
Yeah,
that's what you threw, baby.
I think I touched 40.
You did. You did. You touched 40. You touched 40 women in the hotel. We got to have a talk about that later. No, wait, that was me. I was drunk. But either way, I just want to say that it's your first time throwing that baseball off that mound. You didn't account for the downslope. I told you to, but it's all right. You did great. I'm feeling really proud of you.
Well, I'm tickled to death. Again, we're having a great time here in Fond Du Lac. What am I drinking again, Southpaw?
You were drinking Southpaw. You're drinking the Fox River Blue Bobber. Make up your own jokes.
And it's delicious, though. It's actually really light and refreshing. It feels, I'm a big fan of the fruit beers. I've got some inside knowledge on Andrew Nelson, who is not, apparently. We've gotten some inside poop from...
Andrew's drinking a Knuth Brewery Classic Lager, and I've got a Knuth Brewery Citrus Spice IPA, and I got to tell you, the nose on this thing, Jamie Farr doesn't have as good a nose as this beer does. It's fantastic.
The 5 people who watched this show and saw MASH appreciate this reference.
That was for you, Don. That was for you.
That's for you, Don. This has been Holler And A Swaller. Hey, tell people, why should they follow the Hitter Sports? He's a sponsor of the segment.
You should follow the Hitter Sports because the Hitter Sports is on top of things and because he sponsors the segment.
Show me the merch. The best from the pro shop.
So welcome back to Show Me the Merch. We are out here at the Fond Du Lac.
Fond Du Lac.
This whole time I've been saying Fond Du Lac and have not been corrected until now.
That's all right. We say things weird up here.
Okay, so the Fond Du Lac. Have they considered with Lac? It seems more off the tonguey.
I don't know. It's French to begin with.
So therefore, off the tonguey is normally what they're good at. We're here with Andrew Nelson. This is Show Me the Merch. And as we are wont to do, we have hit up the pro shop.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to start with what Scott got because he's very proud of this. And it's really sharp, and we'll get a photo of it. But it is a logo baseball. Those of you who know me, I love logo baseballs. But this one looks like a ball field. It's got the dirt and the grass that looks as tall as the actual grass down here in Fond Du Lac. What did you get?
I got... First, I have an Arañas de Muelle.
We're going to our off-site producer.
Arañas Muelles?
Arañas Muelles.
Which is the Hispanic Heritage Night look of the Fond Du Lac Dock Spiders.
I love how it's one of the best Copa looks without being an actual Copa look.
Yeah, I love it. And I had to get the 5950 of the Fond Du Lac Dock Spiders. Love it. Only wish that it had a league logo on the back, but I'll still take it. Love a fitted hat.
Mine does. On the stretch fit does have the fitted hat. And then what else do we get?
I got a shirt with my 2 favorite things on it. Beer and baseball.
And spiders. He's got a weird affection for spiders. I got a couple things too. So first I got also the Iranias t-shirt. I kind of dig it because, again, it kind of riffs off the main logo. I like that he looks sort of mean.
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot of cute and cuddly to
Slightly
him.
menacing.
Yeah, slightly menacing. We've got extreme Jenga going on behind us. That's not a euphemism either. We really have. Hey, cameraman, can we get a shot of extreme Jenga over here? That's intense. Look at that sky, though. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then I also got the Fondy Faithful, and this is I dig this shirt because one of the things that we've noticed throughout. Let's pan over here for a second. We've got folks that say Section 109. They are clearly season ticket holders. They are out here having a good time. That's the one thing I've noticed about all of these people out here is they love this ball club, and they're out here having a blast, man.
Yeah, it's great crowd energy tonight.
Great crowd energy, and one of the things that I also got to bring up some great crowd energy, I've been building a little mini bar in my office, not my classroom. And so I got a really cool Dock Spiders and Timber Rattlers bar tool for the bar to go with my Stormtrooper carafe and my other stuff. But hold on a second. We got a high pop to left field, and we could have a collision, and instead the left fielder takes over to retire the side. Overall, it's our first game, and two thoughts so far.
Yeah, it's a good time. It's a nice small park. You're close to the action. There's an excited, engaged crowd. Staff are friendly and helpful. We've got good merch. It's a good experience.
If you could think of 3 adjectives to describe my first pitch from earlier, the one in Fond Du Lac.
Yes.
It didn't lack any panache, though.
It did not. So I would say it was on target. It was moderately paced.
Sure.
We'll say that's hyphenated, so it counts as one.
Okay.
And I would say it was, and this is a compliment, I promise, coming from a Minnesotan, but it was Astadio-esque.
I'm going to Google that, and then I'll get back to you on how I feel about it. Overall, before we run, you made a comment in the pro shop earlier just about how much you love the design. Talk a little bit about just the overall branding for this team, because it does feel different than a lot of others.
It's top-notch. I mean, so a lot of people don't love spiders, but this is a very popular baseball brand, and it's for a reason. You've got the primary logo that's a spider whose body is a baseball. It looks slightly menacing, but also cute at the same time. You've got that great alternate Hispanic heritage identity, which is colorful and fun, but also slightly mean-looking. Like it's not the typical like grandiose like snarling animal look, but it still does capture that kind of slightly menacing, competitive look. It looks like it's about to go out there and try and knock a home run or something.
Ladies and gentlemen, please adjust your scorecards. We have a special guest in the lineup.
So we got some breaking news. A new guest here. We have Rene down here in Fond du Lac. I'm told is how it's supposed to be pronounced.
Yeah, Fond du Lac.
I keep saying Lac.
Yeah, Fond du Lac.
We're big fans of you guys. I keep saying Lac.
Foot of the lake, it means in French, supposedly.
We are learning something every day. You're a host parent.
Yes, I am.
Tell me about who the kid you're hosting and why you host.
Well, we are currently hosting Caleb Durbin, and this is our 3rd year, and we used to host Aaron Anderson, who was a Liberty player. He did a really great job and just a wonderful kid. So we grew up traveling to sports for both of our kids. We were traveling for baseball, we were traveling for football, my daughter played volleyball, and then they graduated, went off to college, and we just were bored. And so it's like, let's host a player. And so we started hosting and just love it. So we try to get to all the home games. Sometimes we'll travel away. We love going to Green Bay and to Madison to their games. So yeah, it's just fun.
How we've hosted a kid, I mean, it's 2 or 3 months. How much a part of your family do they become, and how much do you keep up with them?
Okay, very much. So we had Aaron the first 2 years. We actually went down to Florida where he was playing and watched a couple games down there. His family has become our family, his parents. His parents came up here. We toured Fond du Lac. We actually went up to Green Bay and toured Lambeau with them before one of the games up in Green Bay with the family. So yeah, definitely their family becomes our family. And we just met Caleb. His family tonight, our new host family experience with his family tonight. So Father's Day, we're having them over for a pre-game meal, and yeah, it's great.
That is so awesome, and I love hearing this story because I don't know how much you follow it, but there's a lot of drama. And then let me ask my producer, Andrew, what team is it that's under fire right now? The Bay Sox. But what's the parent club? Okay, so the Orioles of the Bowie Bay Sox haven't been playing their players. They don't get the kids are sleeping in the car because they don't have host families. They don't have the money. So how important is it when you think about these are the future of our game and you're kind of the custodian to that?
Oh, I just, giving them still that, they're still young kids. You want to give them that established place they can go at night. They know they can sleep. They know they can wake up to a good meal. So I just think that's important for these kids. They're young yet. They're college kids.
Yeah.
And so I really think having that still family connection is important. And we just love, our kids have been really good. We've never had issues or problems. They're well behaved. So it's been great. It's been a great experience.
You are a part of a group with the t-shirt that say Section 109. Can you explain what the Section 109 is?
So over the years, some of us host families have always come and sat in the same section. And so, we play some games where do some gambling, fun gambling amongst ourselves, and do some
fun gambling
amongst ourselves.
IRS, I know you're not watching, but don't watch this segment for sure.
No. And we just love getting to know each other's players and families. We'll do some pregame parties and gatherings. So we've always sat in 109. And then this past year, we made these T-shirts.
Feeling fine in 109.
In 109. So there's a group of us that have taken on these T-shirts, and we're always found in 109. We're the fun bunch.
Well, you guys are a fun bunch. Thanks so much for jumping on Let's Get To, and thanks for doing your part to support our game.
Thanks. Love it.
Let's Get To presents Into the Maze with the Normal Cornbelters.
So we're excited to be back in the corn maze with Matt Durkin, general manager of Your Normal Cornbelters. Matt, we're back. First of all, how has it been this sort of first full month of the season? Everything going good? How's your team doing?
It's good. The Belters are actually in first place, so can't complain about that. If they win the first half of the season here, they're automatically in the playoffs. So they're tied for first and have a big push here to next week before the first half ends. And then the KCL has been really competitive. So from a baseball standpoint, and a competitive standpoint, we can't pretty much ask for anything else at this point.
And I know that my Blue Caps seem to be really doing really well right now.
Yeah, they're alone at the top of the standings. I think they have a game or two lead right now.
I'd like to think it's the emotional push I give them from down here in Austin.
For sure.
I hope so anyway. How about your staff? I know you guys are working hard, is there you're getting to the dog days of summer. How's the morale? Is everybody still excited to be back, or are you starting to see a little bit of fatigue?
Yeah, they're doing pretty good so far. We can't complain from them. We've relied heavily on our staff. When you play every day during the summer, you pretty much have to rely heavily on them. But from a staffing standpoint, they've been great, and we can't really ask any more from them at this point.
Awesome. So let's talk about what we're going to get to see. I know I'm going to be up there for this Saturday's game, Star Wars night. I had to be there, but what can we look forward to at the Corn Crib coming up over the next couple of weeks?
Yeah, so Star Wars night, we have a Mandalorian bobblehead giveaway. So our mascot is Mandalorian themed. That's going to be pretty cool to see once they get here in the next day or two. Post-game fireworks, and then we haven't released these yet, but we got some specialty Chewbacca themed jerseys for the guys to wear Saturday night. So we'll be posting about a jersey auction benefiting the Miracle League of Central Illinois the next few days. So keep an eye out for that.
How important is that? It's hard to cut you off, but you guys do that periodically through the season, the jersey auctions, that kind of stuff. How important is that as far as community charity relations?
Yeah, so nonprofits are a big push for us. So between jersey auctions, our Rubber Ducky Night charity nights, and just fundraising opportunities, we want to be as big a help as we can for all nonprofits in the Central Illinois community. And just having the Miracle League play during the summer on Sundays behind us, it's just a great push. So whatever we can do to help local nonprofits through a variety of channels, we're going to do the best we can.
So what are some other like big moments we have coming up in the next 2 or 3 weeks at the corn crib? I know some more corn crib, the fun nights, that kind of thing.
Yeah, so after Star Wars night, the weekend of the 4th of July, we have a pretty big weekend. So that Friday night, we have Minions night with the t-shirt giveaway and post-game movie. Saturday is Born in the USA, so that's going to be kind of all patriotic themed with post-game fireworks, and another bobblehead giveaway, which that one's going to be corny eating a donut. So I don't know how more American you can get than that.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, and then on Sunday for the actual 4th of July, we'll have fireworks here shot off locally as well. So it's going to be a pretty big weekend. Not only this weekend with Star Wars night, but next weekend between the 2 Corn Bash nights and the 4th of July.
Yeah, it's funny. We spent 4th of July out there, as you know, and it was one of our favorite 4th of July. In fact, to the point that I will be wearing my 4th of July Cornbelters jersey from seasons previous on our 4th of July show. It was that much fun.
Good, I'm glad to hear.
So, you guys are kind of at the halfway point. You're getting there. At what point do you start turning your eye as a GM to 2022?
Yeah, so I'll be honest with you, starting on opening day, we do. So we're really big analytically pushed. So seeing, hey, what promotions help trend us towards next season? What are our walk-up trends? What different types of weather can affect attendance? Because obviously baseball, if it rains, no one's going to come to games. So we try and keep track of those type of things as much as we can. We have a really long running list so far. So when we start planning next season, we can see, hey, on Star Wars night, our walk-up was so and so many people. Was that just for the weather that day? Was it a bobblehead? Was it fireworks? So every Corn Bash night or promotional night that we have, we keep track of those so we can see, hey, on average, fireworks brought in about 250 more people or whatever the number may be. So we're always kind of planning next year. And last week we tried our Find Bigfoot night, which was one where like, hey, we're just going to try this, see how it goes. And it worked out really well. So that's one we're bringing back next year for sure. So you hear this from general managers in the MLB all the time. You always got to keep your foot on the gas here in the present, but keep an eye on the future as well.
Yeah, so it isn't even just like whether we should shift or not. Analytics are even involved in the front office.
Yeah, for sure. Everything's got to be down to a T. So from a financial standpoint and then a fan experience standpoint, we can do the best we can.
Well, fan experience wise, I'm going to be tossing out the first pitch. Any advice from the mound up there in Normal? Anything I need to worry about? I don't want to look silly.
Usually the wind blows in from left, so that's about as much as I could get you. I'll maybe help your miles per hour a little bit, but
okay.
Wind there.
Will you have a ready supply of spider tack available for me?
MLB Bandit got to be available somewhere at this point.
Matt, that's where we're going to end because that's perfect. That's hilarious. Yeah, let me turn this off. That was perfect.
From the bleachers, the Let's Get To Game of the Week.
We're back for another segment of From the Bleachers. We are here at the Duck Pond, home of the Madison Mallards. We got a full crowd. We got a play at the plate. We're having a great time at the ball game, and we want to show you a little bit of what we've seen tonight. When you show up to the Duck Pond, you know you're in for a night that's a little different. And if you didn't know, the duck outside should have told you. I love this graphic. Take me back to the ball game, indeed. When you describe the layout of the field, the best thing to say is that it's anything but cookie cutter. Innovative seating and cool features make for interesting angles that amplify the intensity anytime a ball is hit into the outfield. One unique feature about the ballpark is how much of it is made from reused and recycled materials, all in keeping with the values of Madison, Wisconsin itself. From the seats that originated in Baltimore's Camden Yards to the seats in the duck blind where fans of the Utah Jazz used to sit. This box area was made entirely of wood repurposed from the old ballpark. To the duck blind itself, a one-of-a-kind seating section that wraps around the right field line into actual right field made from old shipping containers. Even the team store sign comes from former bleachers that used to sit in the ballpark. The crowd is loud and into their Mallards, one of the more lively we've seen all year. I really enjoyed watching them. They have a great knowledge of the game. They were into every pitch. It was very hard for them to be oh wait, bat dog. Bat dog, bat dog, bat dog, bat dog. One of the best parts of games in the Northwoods League is access. Mallards lining up, win or lose, to meet their fans. I was more than a little touched seeing this. After what last year was like, with the lost season, I can't imagine how excited these fans were to meet some of their favorite players. This is so important to growing the game. I was very honored by the Mallards staff to get the chance to throw out another first pitch.
Our last pitcher is Jim Christopher. Jim is the host of Let's Get To podcast that featured the Madison Mallards along with other Northwoods League's team this May. He's a 7-year Army veteran and filmmaker. Welcome to the Duck Pond, Jim.
Oh no! Oh no! No!
Sadly, no one wanted my autograph after how it went. All in all, what a great night in Madison. The four of us had a blast and we can't wait to get back. This is a must trip for any baseball fan or visitors of ballparks around the country. You'll find an interesting ballpark, a wide variety of food and drink, and some of the best people who have ever put on a baseball game. I mean, Chewbacca's a fan. What else do you need?
Ladies and gentlemen, please adjust your scorecards. We have a special guest in the lineup.
So we are out here at the Madison Mallards at the Duck Pond, and we are here with Kyle, who just sang an amazing rendition of the national anthem. How's it going, man?
I'm doing great. I'm happy to be here. It's been about 2 years since I've been back to Madison, so I'm really happy to be here.
You go all over the country singing the anthem. First of all, I've always heard that is an incredibly difficult song to sing. What makes it hard?
Well, we were talking earlier, a lot of people struggle because it jumps registers, and a lot of people can forget what key they're in. And like we were talking earlier, if you start too high, you got to stay there. Otherwise, it's going to sound like Carl Lewis. But yeah, it's just the way the music sits. You just got to be sure that you're in the right key. And once you pick that key, you got to stay there.
I haven't jumped registers since I was working as a cashier at Kroger. So
Fair
that's
enough.
Very interesting. Very interesting. You've been all over the country.
I see what you did there.
Yeah. I'm not that funny. It's why it's a baseball show. Tell me a little bit about just your career then as a singer. Where have you gone as far as national anthem goes? Some of the ballparks that you really remember.
So, my name is Kyle Cassidy. I'm a professional musical theater actor. I currently live south of Chicago, but I was out in New York City for a couple years. Did some off-Broadway stuff. I was performing cabarets. Whatever pays as long as the check doesn't bounce. But I'm one of the few musical theater guys that like sports. And it's a way to kind of bridge that gap.
Yeah, right.
And so I've sang for the Iowa Cubs. I've sang for the Brooklyn Cyclones, Staten Island Yankees, South Bend Cubs, Peoria Chiefs.
Nice.
Birmingham Barons.
Wow, that's far down there.
Sheboygan A's.
Yeah.
I also just finished doing some races for the National Dirt Track.
Okay.
So wherever I'm needed, I like to do it because I've sang for the Peoria Rivermen. I don't just do baseball. I do hockey. I was at Indianapolis doing the Indy Fuel games for a while. In fact, the end of July, I'm going back to Indianapolis to do an Indianapolis Indians game. So yeah, I mean, a lot of Midwest stuff, but I'm open to everything.
Let's talk musical theater for a second, because I'm actually a filmmaker and Scott and I started the show in part because not a lot of filmmakers like sports. So I want to talk a little bit about musical theater. Scott and I are filmmakers who also like baseball, like you were saying, and I actually grew up with a musical theater background. What's the scene like for you in Chicago as far as just how big is that scene right now?
Well, Chicago is, they call it the second city for a reason, because I know most people think, with Broadway and musical theater,
Sure.
you think New York, and that's fair. But I tell you what, when I moved from New York City to Chicago, I found out that there are more professional theaters, like per capita, in Chicago. And, professional theater could mean you're getting paid $50 for a week's
Sure,
worth
right,
or whatever.
yeah.
But there's more professional theaters in that city than most anywhere else in the country. So, you've got anywhere from your Broadway in Chicago, where the tours go through, to, Judd the Cup Performing Arts Center outside.
Got it.
You've got your Drury Lanes, which are equity houses. You really run the gamut from, small black box theaters that do intimate shows, to your Broadway and Chicago tours that are right down on, the Broadway district. So it's a fantastic theater city, and it's so welcoming.
Sure.
It wasn't terrible in New York, but in New York there was a lot of who you know. But when I moved to Chicago, the first couple shows and gigs I got were, I worked hard in the auditions and got something, and then you network, and then sometimes you'll get a call like, hey, so-and-so worked with you and said that you were really good to work with, and we have a part that we're interested in having you in, and then, things like that happen. But even when you're going to the mass cattle call auditions, there was this overwhelm, and I know I'm a guy, it might not be different, it may be different for girls, but
Sure, right.
I'm fat, hairy, and short, so my roles are very niche, I would be in a big mass audition, and they'd be like, hey, who are you? I haven't seen you at auditions. What's your name? Oh, what are you singing? It was very, very welcoming. So I love performing up in the city, and the surrounding areas of Chicago are great, too.
I miss live theater so much. You can go to a festival with your film, but it's not the same. He is Kyle. He just sang the national anthem, blew our socks off. Where can we?
He's lying. I was okay at best.
Where can we see you again singing the song?
I am singing I'm singing the July 4th. Independence Day, 4th of July game at the Chicago Dogs Stadium, right outside of O'Hare Airport.
We know
I believe
it well.
It's called Impact Field, if I'm not mistaken.
Great ballpark.
So I'll be singing there on the 4th. Also, the 25th of July, I'll be singing in Indianapolis for the Indianapolis Indians. And then towards the end of the summer, I've got a couple gigs at the Kane County Cougars. I'm going back to Chicago, so I got some smatterings along there. But definitely 4th of July, if you're not doing anything, please come out to Chicago. It's going to be a fun night. Fireworks, all that good stuff.
The whole thing.
Holler and a Swaller, a chug of ballpark brew, presented by The Hitter Sports.
We are back here on Holler and a Swaller. We are having a great time at the Duck Pond. First impression for me, usually it's hard to find a locally sourced beer. That's not the problem here.
Oh, it's all over the place.
It's everywhere.
It's everywhere. What? But we are in Wisconsin, where they drink Wisconsinably. So I did well there. I did well. I knew I'd work that in at some point in time on this trip.
Yeah. Let's start with what you got and explain a little bit about the beer you're drinking and why it's so cool.
No, absolutely, sure. So this is a 5-tool ale, and this is like a Northwoods League developed beer with it's slipping. By Broken Bat Brewing. Say that 5 times fast.
Broken Bat Brewing. You can't do it.
It's a smooth little ale, man. You can drink this when it's warm, when it's cold. You can just kind of chill out, and it's got all 5 tools. Sorry, I heard a hard hit ball, but that's to the left. No, it's just a smooth beer that you can drink whenever. It's got all 5 tools.
One of the things that I've liked about it is it really stepped forward for as far as what can be acceptable at a baseball game. And I don't always drink beer. Beer doesn't agree with me as much as I wish it did. And so they've actually got a wine at the thing, and it's another branded for the ball team. It is a official wine of the Madison Mallards, and this is the Great Bambino.
You like that name?
You gotta love a little pun. I love it. Anytime I can get punny, I'm all for it. But this is honestly, it's a really good crisp white wine, and what's kind of cool about it is when it's hot and sweaty, it's pretty refreshing. And
it won't give you the puns.
No, but he will. Overall, though, give me your 20-second review of the ballpark.
This ballpark has better angles than Pamela Anderson at her prime. This is a fantastic place to watch a game. No, it does. The walkway and everything. I was talking with the guy that sang the national anthem earlier, Kyle. It has a Wrigley Field feel to it because everything is outside. It's got that old ballpark feel. The angles, it's 380 dead center, but it's deeper over here. Yet it's like 320 down this line. 308 and a third down the left field line.
Nothing about it is cookie cutter.
No, you've got a duck blind over here with a roof overhanging 8 feet of right field that's in play.
What's
so
better than that?
How fantastic is that? The angles just in foul territory. It's been a long time since I've seen a field that looks like this. It would have been a blast to play on, I would say that.
Show me the merch. The best from the pro shop.
And we are back for another segment of Show Me the Merch. In this episode, Andrew, we're out here at the home of the Madison Mallards. What did you pick up?
All right, so I went with the retro, the original Madison Mallards look from 2 looks ago. Got the red, white, and green combo, the kind of bug-eyed, crazy-looking mallard on the cap, and then the matching colorway jersey also.
Now, I went with the throwback between the throwback and the new throwback.
The more recent throwback.
And I went with the sort of gold. I'm a sucker for this sort of pullover jersey. It already feels retro in and of itself. It's got the bold M there. And then I also picked up the new jersey, which is super, super cool. It's not pinstripes. Those are the names of all of the towns and cities in this county, which is a great way to create some regionality for your baseball team. The other thing I picked up, and we talked earlier about how this team is really all about reuse and recycle. I picked up a 6-pack of beer carrier, and then a
muddler or a pestle, depending on what you use it for.
Or a pestilence or a muggle. But the cool thing about both those items is they are made from wood from actual Wrigley Field seats. So kind of a fun throwback. One will go to my brother-in-law, the other will go to my wife who grew up Cubs fan. So all in all, we've had a great time. Get out to the Madison Mallards website, buy you some gear. The gear I also ordered apparently just arrived, so they can keep you outfitted for the entire baseball season.
And now, on to close it out, the right-hander from Houston, Texas, James Christopher.
So that wraps us up from Wisconsin. We want to thank the Fond Du Lac Dock Spiders and the Madison Mallards for what has been an amazing weekend of Northwoods League baseball. We've had a great time. I hope that you will look at this video, look at this episode, and get out to a ball game. This has got to be one of the top 3 or 4 leagues going in all of baseball. We love it. We've got more Northwoods League action coming up very soon. Next week, we are back on the road. We're going to be visiting with the Portland Pickles. We're going to be checking out some Portland Collegiate Summer League baseball. Again, great time. Thank you to the Mallards. Thank you to the Dock Spiders. Get out to a ball game. Get you some peanuts. Get you some Cracker Jack. And let's get to